Welcome to Clyde's Chamber of Horror.
Hello, this is Clyde J.K.L. with a brief reminder. Mystery Play Internet Radio is listener-supported, so I encourage your monetary support with a donation today. Please visit www.mpir-otr.com and click on the donations page. A one-time donation of any amount will be greatly appreciated. Again, that's www.mpir-otr.com. And thank you for listening to Mystery Play Internet Radio.
Good evening, friends. This is your host to welcome you through the creaking door into the inner sanctum. That music you hear is a new little thing dedicated to us. A little number called Baby, It's Cold Inside. That's because the characters around here are 20 degrees below normal. Oh, speaking of characters, meet our pet ghoul, Georgie. He strayed away from us, but he came back because, as Georgie puts it, there's no place like Loam. Georgie was a real successful ghoul, never let any grass grow under his feet. Of course, he wasn't always a ghoul. He was quite undecided on a profession when one day he passed a burial ground, and right then and there, Georgie took a turn for the hearse.
Tonight's Inner Sanctum Mystery, Image of Death, was written by Ed Adamson and Bob Sloan, and stars Barry Kroger in the role of Victor, with Jean Ellen as Kitty.
Before we begin, let me warn you, any similarity between the characters in tonight's tale and those in your nightmares is purely intentional. Okay, friends, hang on to your nervous systems. The man stands in the dim-lit room, looking down at the motionless body on the floor. His large hands with the whipcord muscles are in startling contrast to his thin, sensitive face. For another moment, he stands there, staring vacantly. Then he walks to the telephone, dials a number, and waits.
Sergeant Ferguson speaking.
I want to report a murder. You'll find the body at 14 Crown Street.
Wait a minute, hold on, not so fast.
I'll be here, waiting for you.
Who's calling? Who are you?
Me? Why, I'm a man who's been dead 5 years. The police are on the way now. I sit here and I wait. And I think back over the 5 years. Back to the night that I, Victor Corday, died. I was in my studio working on the statue. There's a strange emotion that only a sculptor can feel. The exhilaration of taking senseless stone and imbuing it with life and meaning. I was so overwhelmed with the feeling that night, I lost complete track of time and place. I had no idea my wife had come into the studio and was standing behind me.
Victor.
What? Oh, Evelyn. What are you doing up this time of night?
I couldn't sleep. I was thinking.
The money again?
You know, we're almost down to rock bottom.
Darling, I told you not to worry about it.
I'm not worried anymore.
The statue will be finished in a month or two, and then...
We won't have to wait until it's finished.
What?
It'll be so easy, so sure.
What are you talking about?
Your sister, Clara.
What's she got to do with it?
Her insurance is made out to you, and Clara is a helpless, incurable invalid.
Evelyn, I don't understand.
How many times has she begged for death since the accident? How many times has she asked us to help her out of her misery?
Oh, no, Evelyn, stop it.
I've got it all planned. No one would ever find out.
Stop it. Kill my sister? Make myself a murderer?
You won't feel a thing. It'll be simple and quick.
I won't listen to you anymore.
You'll do it, Victor, whether you want to or not.
Evelyn, get away from that statue.
This will make you do as I say.
Evelyn! Destroying. All months of work. Destroyed.
Now there'll be nothing coming in, Victor. Now you'll have to do exactly as I... Victor! Victor!
How could you do a thing like that? How?
It was for your own good.
How?
Let go, Victor!
How?
You're hurting me.
How?
Lisa!
Evelyn was limp in my arms. When I let go, she slumped to the floor. I stood over her, wondering what had happened, when I saw the ribbon of blood at my feet, and then the bloody wall hook against which I'd accidentally pushed her. I touched her. I spoke to her, but she was motionless and silent and dead. And that was the night that I died, too. I didn't mean to kill Evelyn, but I knew no one would believe me. So I ran away, changed my name to Victor Carlin. I buried myself for 5 years. I became a gravestone cutter. I used these hands of mine for carving monuments to the dead. And for 5 years I hid, going nowhere, meeting no one. And then she came along. It was late one afternoon. I was in my shop near the cemetery, finishing work on a black marble headstone.
Hello.
What?
Victor? I said hello.
Who are you?
Oh, now don't tell me you don't remember me.
How do you know my name?
I know a lot about you. I've been watching you for a long time.
Watching me? Why?
We could be friends, Victor. You need a friend.
Will you please tell me who you are?
Kitty Regan. You can just call me Kitty. I'm a waitress in a restaurant where you eat once in a while. Wouldn't you like me for a friend?
What do you want, really?
Oh, you shouldn't be afraid of me.
I've no reason to be afraid of anybody.
Oh, yes, you have. I can tell. I've watched you. When you're out of this shop, you're always looking around, like you were running away or waiting for somebody to catch you.
You don't know what you're talking about.
And you're always alone. You're afraid to make friends. But you don't have to be afraid of me, Victor. Not as long as you give me the money.
Why should I give you money?
You don't have to. I can go to the police. I can always go to the police.
And that's the way it began with Kitty. She couldn't have known what I'd done. She might have thought it was robbery or something like that, but she couldn't have known it was murder. She drained me of every penny I made. But strangely enough, I didn't mind. I actually started to look forward to her visits. And then one day I realized why. Kitty Regan was cheap and low and evil. But I'd fallen in love with her.
well, how do you like that? Oh, he says he's in love with me.
Don't laugh, Kitty, please. I want to marry you.
Marry me? Well, that's a riot. A crummy character like you. Where's my money?
Kitty. It hasn't been a very good week. I only had one job.
Well, whatever it is, hand it over.
Kitty, I want to show you how I feel about you.
You already showed me.
No, this will make you really understand. I'm going to make you a figurine in ivory. to be very valuable.
Oh, so you think you can make something that's worth a lot of money? You, a gravestone cutter.
I have talent in these hands of mine. Great talent as a sculptor.
Oh, sure. You're a regular Michelangelo. Come on, hand the money over.
All right. But I'm going to prove it, Kitty. I'm going to prove that I'm somebody you'd be proud to love. I realized the danger in making that ivory figurine for Kitty. It would have my stamp on it. But then, Kitty couldn't possibly know its real value. I only did it to prove to her that I was something better than a gravestone cutter. A week after I'd given her the ivory figurine, I went to her apartment. 2 half-packed valises were on the studio couch.
What's the matter, Victor? What are you looking at?
Those bags, Kitty. Where are you going?
Oh, that. I'm moving away from here. This crummy room is getting on my nerves.
You're running away from me.
Where'd you get that idea
Kitty,
from?
don't ever run away. Because I'll follow you wherever you go.
I'm not running away. Just rented a new apartment on the other side of town in the Linda Park section.
Linda Park? You've got to have money to live over there.
So I have the money.
Where'd you get it?
It's none of your business. Let me finish packing.
Kitty,
Huh?
the figurine I made for you. It's not on the table.
What?
Where is it?
No, look, Victor, don't get excited.
Where is it? What have you done with it?
I sold it.
What?
I sold it. What's so awful about that?
You sold it? You sold my gift to you?
I needed more money. You haven't been doing so well lately, and I figured the ivory was worth something.
You shouldn't have done that.
The man who bought it said the carving was pretty good.
Oh.
You really got talent, Victor. You can become an important guy.
Kitty, I don't care about that. I just want you.
Oh. All right, Victor, then you can have me.
You mean that? You really mean that?
Well, sure. Just as long as you do what I say. How many of those figurines can you make a month?
Oh, no, I can't do that.
Sure you can, baby. You'll do it for me. Now, won't you?
Kitty, you don't realize what it may mean. There may be death in it for both of us.
You're a screwy sort of a guy, but do you know something? I'm beginning to like you.
Are you? Really?
Mm-hmm. You never kissed me, did you?
I never kissed you.
Well, come here.
Kitty.
You'll do what I want, baby. Won't you?
Oh, Kitty, I'll do anything for you. I knew I shouldn't have done as she asked. But the will to live isn't always as strong as the will to love. I worked day and night until my hands became raw from the mallet and chisel and stone. As time went on, the chances for my own personal safety became less and less. I was working in my shop one night when my dead past came to life.
Well, at last we meet, Mr. Carlin.
He was George Adrian, an art dealer from the West Coast, whom I dealt with years ago. Adrian looked at me, a sly, secret smile on his lips.
So, that's the name you use now, Carlin. Awfully close to Corday, isn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Corday, I consider it an honor to renew our acquaintance.
Now, see here, I never saw you before in my life.
Oh, stop it. You're just wasting time. You needn't be afraid. I'm not going to expose you. The fact that you murdered your wife is no affair of mine. Undoubtedly, she deserved it.
How did you find me, Adrian?
Oh, it was quite by accident. A young woman named Kitty Regan sold me an ivory figurine of yours. And then some more work of yours later. All of it had the unmistakable stamp of Victor Corday on it.
And what do you want?
Frankly, I'm one to take advantage of a situation.
Then it's money.
Exactly.
All right.
How much?
Quite a sum. It's much more than you're able to give me at present. Now, being two reasonable men, I'm sure we can work out installments.
Adrian had my life in his hands. I had only one defense against him.
This latest piece of yours should bring you a very good price.
He stepped closer to examine the statue. My fingers tightened around the gouge in my hand.
$500 should be a reasonable amount for the first installment, don't you think?
I stepped in behind him and drove the gouge home, deep into his throat. I carried Adrian's body to the cemetery near my shop and buried it in a freshly dug grave. But I had no peace of mind. In a few days, death began to close in on me again. An art critic from a Chicago paper wanted to do an article on me, and I couldn't refuse. Kitty kept egging him on, and he insisted on seeing every bit of my work, including the tombstones I had made for the dead. The night we went to the cemetery, a heavy rain was falling. I shook with fear as we stopped at the grave where Adrian's body lay, just a few inches underneath the surface. And the rain kept pouring down, washing the dirt away.
Well, this is an interesting piece, Mr. Carlin.
It's not really one of my important works, Mr. Rogers. Shall we go on?
Oh, you mustn't be so modest. This sculpture would be worth a great deal to a gallery. Oh, it's a pity that it remains here unseen.
Oh, Victor, maybe the owner would sell it back.
No, Kitty. I wouldn't think of asking such a thing. I still have other pieces we can sell. Let's go back to the shop, shall we? What are you looking at, Mr. Rogers?
Face on this figure. It's uncanny.
What do you mean?
Well, it's so much like the face of a figure I saw in Los Angeles some years ago. It was done by a man named Corday. You ever hear of him?
Yes, I've heard of it.
Your work is very much like his, especially the face on this figure.
But the face you see there is Kitty's.
Oh. Yeah, but still it might pass for the model Corday always used, his wife, Evelyn. You have a great future, Mr. Carlin.
Thank you. Now, shall we go?
Victor, can I speak to you for a minute?
Why, Kitty...
Oh, don't mind me. I'll walk ahead of this.
What is it, Kitty?
Why'd you lie to him? That's not my face. I never posed for you.
I know that.
There's some other woman, isn't there?
No.
There is. Now that you're making money, you'll spend it on another woman, that other sculptor's wife, Evelyn. You and
Don't
she
be a
are...
fool. Evelyn Corday is dead.
Dead? How do you know?
Because her husband killed her. You see what Rogers meant yesterday? See what a great sculptor I really am, Kitty?
Could be that Rogers is dead wrong about you.
He knows Rogers is an expert.
Expert in my eye. He isn't even an art critic.
What?
He's a phony.
What are you talking about?
Rogers. He doesn't work for Chicago paper. That's just a gag.
He doesn't... Kitty, how do you know?
Oh, I have ways of finding things out.
How do you know?
Oh, let go of me, Victor. What's the
This is
matter with...
important to me.
Let go.
How did you find out?
All right, I'll tell you. Called up the paper he said he worked for.
Yes?
I got something invested in this thing, too, you know.
And?
They never heard of him. There's no reason for you to get all hot about it.
Don't you understand, Kitty? If he isn't an art critic, why is he posing as one?
I don't know.
Well, I do know. Only I've got to make sure.
Well, what difference does it make? He's probably just an agent trying to get a line on your work.
An agent for whom? The police?
What? I never thought of that. Victor, I know you've been hiding for some reason. You're in some kind of trouble. What kind?
Let me alone. I've got to think. Kitty.
Yeah?
Go back to your apartment. Stay there until I call.
Why? What are you going to do?
That's none of your business. You just stay there and wait. I may need you later on. I went to the hotel where Rogers was staying and climbed down the fire escape to his window. I opened the window carefully and went into the room. I could hear the water running in the shower. I quickly found out what I wanted to know. The identification was in his pocket. Frank Rogers, Los Angeles Police Department. Suddenly, the door to the bath opened, and Rogers was standing there in a robe.
What are you doing here, Carlin?
I knocked, Mr. Rogers, but you didn't answer, so I just came on in.
Oh, I guess I couldn't hear you from the shower. I thought I'd locked the door.
No, the door was open.
It's funny. I was sure I'd locked it. Well, however, it doesn't make any difference. You're here, and that's the important thing. Isn't it? Corday. Thanks for coming over and saving me the trouble. It's good you didn't try to run away. I'd have gotten you anyway.
You're quite wrong, Rogers. I have you. I found this gun in your pocket.
Put it down, Corday. You haven't a chance. A shot at this time of the night will bring everybody in the hotel here.
Thank you for warning me.
Killing me won't help you. I sent my report to headquarters. It'll be just a matter of time before they catch up with you.
Maybe you're right.
Sure, Corday.
I've already killed one man with this gouge.
Put that down, Corday. Stay where you are.
I'll have to do this quietly, Rogers. You warned me.
Corday, don't.
I left the hotel. A few blocks away, I went into a drugstore and called Kitty. She didn't answer. I went to her apartment. She wasn't home. I waited in the park across the street. I waited and waited. And finally she came home. And with her, there was another man. I wanted to kill them both right then and there. But I was too stunned. I wandered around for hours. And then the thought came to me. I went back to my shop and worked. For the rest of the night, I worked in a blind rage. And then this morning, Kitty came to see me.
Victor.
Yes, Kitty?
Victor, have you seen the morning paper?
No. I've been busy.
Roger's been murdered.
Has he?
He was killed in his hotel room last night.
I was right, Kitty. Rogers was from the police.
You did it, didn't you, Victor?
There. Stone's finished.
Answer me. You did it, didn't you?
Yes. I killed him.
Why?
I had to. But you won't tell on me, will you?
What makes you think I won't?
Because I'm too valuable to you. I can give you the things you always wanted.
A lot of good you are to me now. You're a murderer.
We could run away. We could hide. They could never find us.
Not on your life. I'm not running away with you from now on. I'm running from you. I only came here to say goodbye.
Yes. I had an idea. That's why you came. There's somebody else, isn't there?
No.
You don't have to lie to me. I saw you with him last night.
What?
I was outside your house last night when he brought you home.
All right, so there is someone else. You're no good to me anymore.
Oh. Kitty.
What do you want?
Just one more thing.
Well, make it snappy.
I have a gift for you, Kitty. Parting gift that will stay with you long after I'm gone.
Gift? What kind of a gift?
A figure in black marble.
This one?
Yes. I worked all night on it. I think it's the most beautiful figure I ever made.
It's a tombstone.
Mm-hmm. See here? Your name engraved?
And there's a date.
Yes.
Today's date.
Yes, Kitty. Today. The date of your death.
No!
You mustn't be afraid to die.
Victor,
Just one
wait.
thrust of this gouge and it'll be all over.
No, Victor, wait. Listen to me. I won't leave you. I won't ever leave
But you don't love me.
I do. I'll prove it to you. I'll go with you. I'll run away any place
You're
you want.
only saying that because you're afraid to die.
No, it's because I want to be near you.
No, Kitty.
Victor, put your arms around
No, Kitty.
me. Put your arms around me. I'll show you how much I care.
You're just saying.
No, I'll prove it. Hold me tight. Isn't this nice, Victor, isn't it?
It's wonderful, Kitty.
Now, kiss me. You see, I mean it.
Kitty.
Kiss me, Victor.
13th Precinct, Sergeant Ferguson speaking.
I want to report a murder. You'll find the body at 14 Crown Street.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Not so fast.
I'll be here, waiting for you.
Who's calling? Who are you?
Me? Right. I'm a man who's been dead 5 years.
And that finishes our sculptor's model story. Kitty should have known better. Fool around with a guy who works in marble and you're liable to end up stone dead. Well, that's what happens to you when you can't keep your chisel out of other people's heads. Well, friends, as we say here in the inner sanctum, it's all over but the screaming. Now, it's all over. Good night. Pleasant dreams.
Inner Sanctum was heard in the United States over CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System, and has been rebroadcast for servicemen and women overseas. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
There's an old deserted mansion on an old forgotten road where the better ghosts and goblins always hang out. One night they threw a party in a manner a la mode, and they cordially invited all the gang out. At a dark, bewitching hour, when the fun was loud and hearty, a notorious wallflower became the life of the party. The spooks were having their midnight fling. Merry Megan was in full swing. They shrieked themselves into a cheerful trance when the skeleton in the closet started to dance. Now, Goblin, he giggled with fiendish glee. A shout rang out from a big banshee. Amazement was in every ghostly glance when the skeleton in the closet started to dance. Now all the witches were in stitches while his steps made rhythmic thumps, and they nearly dropped their broomsticks when he tried to do the bumps. You never heard such an earthly laughter or such hilarious groan when the skeleton in the closet rattled his bones.
That's all there is. There isn't any more.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows. The Shadow, who aids the forces of law and order, is in reality Lamont Cranston, wealthy young man about town. Years ago in the Orient, Cranston learned a strange and mysterious secret, the hypnotic power to cloud men's minds so they cannot see him. Cranston's friend and companion, the lovely Margot Lane, is the only person who knows to whom the voice of the invisible shadow belongs.
Today's story, Phantom Fingerprint.
But you must understand, Lord Hawley, I am a woman. No. Let's see. I am a lady. No. I am...
You am crazy.
Did you say something, Margot?
Oh, Lamont, you're marvelous.
Oh, what do you mean?
You've been sitting at that typewriter for the past 3 hours, mumbling, I am a lady. I am a woman.
Margot, you just don't understand how an author must search for the right word.
Search? That was a manhunt.
Well, now tell me, do you think she should say, I am a woman, or I am a lady?
Well, that depends on which she is.
Well, she's both.
Why don't you play safe and just call her a female?
Oh, now there you go again. Now, how do you think it would sound for her to stand up and say, I am a female?
Well, I was only trying to help.
Oh.
Say, haven't you a date with Commissioner Weston to take him to your rehearsal tonight?
Oh, that's so. I did want to rewrite this scene and take along with me, though.
Well, then call her a woman and let it go at that.
Well, a woman isn't bad.
It's very good.
Yes. I am a woman. Say, that is good. I am a woman.
Sheer genius.
I am a woman.
Now, come on. Let's get down to police headquarters.
All right, Commissioner Weston. Ready to see the rehearsal?
Well, Cranston, as a matter of fact, I don't care much for mystery plays, and as for rehearsal...
Oh, grab him quickly, Lamont. He's slipping through our fingers.
No, Commissioner, I want your opinion on the play. After all, I am, as you've told me so often, merely an amateur criminologist. I'd appreciate the judgment of an expert.
You really want my opinion?
Your invaluable opinion, Commissioner.
Well, in that case, Miss Lane, since you put it that way...
And the publicity agent thinks it'll be good for the show if you come to see a rehearsal.
Oh, so that's it, eh? So I'm just being used as a publicity guy.
But good publicity, Commissioner.
Here's your hat, Commissioner.
And your coat, Commissioner.
Well, come in.
Good evening. Oh, I didn't know you had visitors, Chief.
Oh, come in anyway, Doc. Come on in. This is Miss Lane and Mr. Cranston, Dr. Kilgore.
How do you do?
How do you do?
We've met before, Doctor.
Yes.
Doc Kilgore's our medical examiner. He's been with the force for... How long is it, Doc?
40 years. Next Thursday, Commissioner.
Yes, of course. By the way, Doc, the men on the force are throwing a little party for you to celebrate your long service.
Yes, I know. And I appreciate your thinking of me, really, but I just hate to be reminded that I'm getting old.
Well, Doc, I've been thinking things over, and I thought that the party would be a good place for you to announce...
My retirement?
Yes, Doc. Now, I have your pension papers in the drawer of my desk here. I haven't signed it yet because I wanted to talk to you first.
Well, hasn't my work been satisfactory, Commissioner?
Doc, you're the best medical examiner in the country. But we're thinking of you. You've worked hard all your life. Now you can retire at full salary and enjoy yourself.
Oh, why? If I retired, I'd be dead in 6 months.
Now, Doc, that's no way for you to talk.
I'm an old fire horse, Commissioner. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I didn't have my work to do. But, of course, if you want me to retire, I'll do it.
I wouldn't think of it, Doc. I was only doing it for your sake.
Well, then, shall we forget it for the time being? You see, I don't want to retire yet, Commissioner.
Oh, forget it then, Doc.
All right. Oh, I guess I'd better get along.
Oh, what is it you came in to see me about, Doc?
Oh, what?
Would you rather we left the room, Dr. Kilgore?
Oh, no, indeed not. It can wait until morning.
Well, we'll miss the first act unless we hurry.
You see, Doctor, Mr. Cranston's play is in rehearsal tonight, and he wants my critical opinion. But if you want to talk to me, I'll be glad to.
No, indeed. What I have to tell you can wait, Commissioner.
Ah, well, let's go then. Oh, by the way, Doc, those reports I wanted you to look at are right here on my desk.
Yes.
Now, you sit right down and go over them. There'll be no one around here to bother you at this time of night.
All right, Commissioner.
We've got exactly 16 minutes to get there. We'll never make it.
We will with a police escort, Miss Lane.
Police escort? Whoa, did you hear that, Lamont?
Yes, Margaret. Goodbye, Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Kilgore.
Now, don't work too hard,
No,
Doc.
I won't. Have a nice time.
Thanks, we will. I'm going to work the siren.
Oh, well. Now to work. Now, let me see. Where did he say those reports were? No, they're not here. Oh, yes, of course. Here they are on the desk. Now, let me see. Oh, yes, indeed. This is going to be a mighty interesting case. Why, that's odd. I thought I heard something. Hey, who's there? Who's there? I said. I can't see you over there in the dark. Oh, no. No, not you. No, don't look at me that way. No, you couldn't. I'll call for help. Oh, please, you couldn't. What have I done to you? Oh, please speak to me. Don't just keep looking at me that way. Well, you wouldn't kill me. Well, you couldn't. It's impossible. I'll call for help. This door is locked.
Well, Commissioner Weston, what's your opinion?
I think you've got a mighty nice theater here.
A mighty nice
I think Lamont's more interested in your opinion of his play, Commissioner.
Well, of course.
Oh, that. Well, now look, Cranston. Your villain is supposed to be a master criminal.
Yes?
He makes a foolish blunder, for one thing.
Well, then, you don't think a master criminal would leave his fingerprints around, even by accident?
Emphatically, no.
Well, I don't see why.
Mr. Weston. You're being paged, Commissioner.
Yes, one of my men from headquarters. Guy, what are you doing here, Giles?
Well, Dr. Giles, hello.
Chief, I've got bad news for you. Doc Kilgore is dead.
Dead?
What?
Why, we just left him 2 hours ago in my office.
He's been murdered.
I know how you feel, Giles. I know how we all feel.
Who did it? Who would want to kill him?
I wish I knew, Giles. Step on it, Murphy.
Yes, sir. Dr. Giles, you were Dr. Kilgore's assistant, weren't you?
Well, he was more than just my superior. He was the best friend I ever had. He put me through medical school, got me the job as his assistant. But he was so good to everyone. Why should anyone want
Come on now, come on. Pull yourself together.
Oh, I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
Have you had a chance to examine the body?
Yes, I have.
What did you find?
Doc had been stabbed at the base of the skull with a sharp instrument.
Yeah.
Death resulted almost immediately, Commissioner Weston.
Poor old man. At least he never knew what happened.
Chief, if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to bring the Doc's murderer to justice.
Who did you say was with you when you discovered Doc Kilgore's body, Molly?
No one, sir.
What time was it?
You've asked him that question at least 4 times, Mr. Weston.
And you've interrupted this investigation at least 50.
Oh, Commissioner, you're exaggerating. I haven't said more than a dozen words in the last 2 hours.
Please, Miss Lane.
All right, but I just wanted to be helpful.
What time was it when you discovered the body, Molly?
About 11 or just before 11.
You were off duty at 8 o'clock. What were you doing at the office at that hour?
Is this the 3rd degree, Commissioner?
No, this is not the 3rd degree. We don't use the 3rd degree. We don't believe in 3rd degree methods.
Well, you don't have to shout at me, and you needn't leave your office.
I'm not leaving my office, but you are.
What?
Giles, where's Cranston?
He's out here examining the body.
He is he? We'll ask him to come in here immediately.
Speaking about me, Commissioner?
Now, look, Cranston. I don't mind you and Miss Lane being here, but she's interfering with my investigation.
I am not. I was just...
All right, Margot. I think it's time you went home anyway.
Yeah.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
No, I'm not going home. I'll wait outside for you, Lamont. And as for you, Mr. Weston, it wasn't necessary to be so rude. Good night.
Rude. Now maybe I can get somewhere.
Dr. Giles, Tell Commissioner Weston what we've just discovered.
Well, it's your idea, Mr. Cranston. You tell him.
Well, all right.
Commissioner, do you need me any longer? I'd like to go home.
Go ahead. But I haven't finished questioning you yet. I'll see you tomorrow morning, Molly.
Yes, sir. Good night, sir.
Well, what is it, Cranston?
Commissioner, do you remember Killer Norvelli?
Remember him? I certainly ought to. I sent him to the chair in 1931.
That's right.
He was a tough customer, all right. Murdered about 5 people with his knives.
Commissioner, before he started on his career of crime, he was a knife thrower in vaudeville, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Now, what are you driving at?
And Dr. Giles tells me he performed the autopsy on him. Right, Giles?
Yes, I'll never forget. It was the fall of 1931. My first big assignment after Doc Kilgore got me my job in the department.
What's a murderer electrocuted 8 years ago got to do with the death of the doctor?
I don't know the answer to that, Commissioner. But there's an odd similarity in the murder technique. And as Dr. Giles pointed out, the weapon used on Dr. Kilgore left the same tri-cornered mark as found on Novelli's victims.
Yes, everything is the same. Why, if I didn't know Novelli was dead and buried, I'd say he was our man.
Now, wait a minute, gentlemen. I can see exactly what you're thinking. Killer Novelli comes back from the dead to kill a man he never had anything against. Oh, no, Cranston.
All right, Commissioner. Now, what about fingerprints?
As I told you before, Cranston, a smart criminal doesn't leave his prints around.
Oh, but O'Reilly found a clean-cut set of prints right in the center of your desk, Chief. He's down on the files right now, checking up on them.
What? On my desk?
You say a complete set of prints was found?
4 fingers and a thumb, all perfect. No smudges.
Perfect? Well, you're very fortunate, Weston.
We'll have the murderer within an hour, Cranston.
Well, I wish you luck.
Chief, I've got the murderer. Here's the rat who killed Doc Kilgore.
Molly? I knew your story sounded phony.
I didn't do it. Dr. Kilgore was a friend of mine. You've got to believe
Shut
me.
up. Now, what is all this, O'Reilly?
Well, I was developing the photographs of the fingerprints we found in your office, Chief, when I heard a noise in Doc Kilgore's office.
Yes?
I rushed in and caught Moley red-handed going through the Doc's papers. And this paper was in his hand when I jumped him.
Let's see it.
Sure, I was going through his papers. But I didn't kill Doc. I can swear it. Why, he was the best friend I ever had.
This is getting to be most interesting. What does the paper say, Weston?
It's a note for $850. Made out to Doc Kilgore and signed Charles Moley.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. I can explain that.
Yes, I'd like to have you explain this, Moley.
Well, I did owe Doc $850, but I paid him back early this evening. He was busy in the lab and didn't have time to get the IOU for me. After he was dead, I realized how bad things would look for me if the note were found, so I went to his office to get it.
Go on, Moley.
Well, that's about all there is to tell. He lent me the money to pay off the men I'd been gambling with. I didn't want to lose my job, and I knew I would if you found out that I'd been gambling.
You say you paid the money back to Dr. Kilgore?
Yes, early this evening, and I swear I did.
No money was found on Doc Kilgore. Now, I'll tell you what I think, Moley. You owed Doctor money and you couldn't pay him. He threatened to come to tell me about it and about your gambling. You got desperate and killed him to save yourself.
I gave him the money, I tell you.
I'll get you for this.
Keep away from me. Come on, get it.
None of that, Giles. I know how you feel, but...
Doesn't anybody believe I didn't do it?
Take him away, O'Reilly.
All right, Chief, come on.
I'm
Come on,
tired.
Give him a hand, Giles.
All right, Chief.
Well, there you are, Cranston.
You're convinced you have Doc Kilgore's murderer?
Absolutely. Motive and all.
I don't think you have, Commissioner. There are too many loose ends. What about the fingerprints in the center of your desk? Why was the knife thrown instead
How do you know it was thrown?
Just a hunch.
You can't convict a man on hunches. I've got proof and a motive.
What happened to the money?
There never was any. That was part of Moley's phony story.
Oh, I see. You know, Commissioner, those fingerprints intrigue me.
Well, go to work, Sherlock Holmes. Oh, for me, I'm going home and get some much-needed sleep. Come in.
I'm sorry to bother you, Chief, but is O'Reilly here?
No, he's busy. What did you want?
Well, it's about the prints, Chief. The ones we found on your desk.
What about them?
Well, I've checked them, and I've rechecked them. And they don't make sense.
What are you talking about?
The fingerprints we found on your desk, Chief, belong to Killer Norvelli. But he's been dead since 1931.
Please, Cranston, go away and don't bother me. I'm too busy to spend my time watching vaudeville acts. After all the excitement last night, I had about 2 hours sleep. Look at this desk, piled with mail. I'll never get through it all.
You're missing something, Commissioner. There's a woman knife thrower on the bill who's simply terrific.
I don't care if she is simply terrific. I can't... Knife thrower.
A most interesting woman, Commissioner Weston. Madame Maria Novelli.
Killer Novelli's widow, you know.
Ah, Killer Novelli again. Cranston, if I hear that name again, I'll begin throwing things, and it won't be knives.
But, Commissioner, don't you think that...
Think. I'll... Go away, Miss Lane, please. Cranston, go write another mystery play or anything you want, but don't bother me. I got the murder of Doc Kilgore, and I got a motive, and that's all I need.
I hope so, old man. I sincerely hope so for your sake. As for me, I've got a hunch. Come on, Margot.
Bye, Commissioner.
Goodbye.
Margot, the Shadow is going to pay Madame Maria Norvelli a visit backstage at the Lyceum Theater.
Maria Norvelli,
What? Who is there? I can see no one.
it is I, the Shadow. You cannot see me, but I can see you. And you must answer my questions.
Who are you? What do you want here in Maria Novelli's dressing room?
Who murdered Doc Kilgore, Madame Novelli?
I don't know what you mean.
Is it Killer Novelli?
Novelli? No. No, it could not be. He is dead.
Novelli was your husband?
Yes, but he is dead. Dead, I tell you.
That is the truth?
That is the truth. He was evil. He killed with the knives, the beautiful knives. I teach him the great art to throw the knives, and he used it to kill.
Who else have you taught to throw the knives?
Ah, many. But there was one last year I taught him. He was very good. He learned quick. He learned as good as Novelli. I want him to join the act with me, but he
Go on. Go on.
say no. He say he got other reasons, other uses for the knives. Ah, he is evil too, like Novelli.
You aren't lying to me?
No, it is true. Everything is true.
What is this man's name?
His name? Oh, no. That I cannot say. He make me promise not to tell. He say I'll kill you if you tell.
You must tell me his name if I'm to help you.
Oh, please. Please do not ask that.
Quickly, Madame Novelli, his name.
All right. I will tell. His name is...
Madame Novelli. She's dead.
And that's the story, Margot. According to Dr. Giles' report, the same weapon that killed Doc Kilgore also killed Madame Novelli.
Any fingerprints found this time, Lamont?
Oh, yes. The ever-present fingerprints were there. Perfect set as usual. And, of course, they belonged to our friend, the late Killer Novelli.
But how could a dead man go around killing people?
He couldn't, Margot. That's just it. The murderer is merely using a very clever device to throw the police off his trail.
Yet the fingerprints do match, Lamont.
Yes, confound it. That's the confusing part of this whole thing. If I knew how the murderer performed this neat little trick, I'd know better where to look for him.
Well, darling, at least you were smarter than Commissioner Weston. He thought Moley was the guilty party.
Yeah. Old boy was a bit upset that the killer should have struck again and Moley safely guarded miles away under lock and key. Still, I can't be too hard on Weston. My record hasn't been too good on this case either. All I know, maybe Killer Novelli is alive. Maybe he's the man we're after all.
Oh, I know that mood of yours when I hear it. Come on, Chief. You and I are going out for a nice brisk walk.
Oh, it's getting pretty late, Margot. Besides, I've
No,
got...
I won't take no for an answer. Now, come on. Here's
All
my
right.
hat and my gloves and... Oh, dear, look at them. Just look at them.
Look at one. Oh, your gloves. What's the matter with them?
Oh, they're ruined, that's all. Ruined. I just got them back from the cleaners, and they washed them instead of dry cleaning them. Now, look.
Yeah. They've ripped.
Of course they've ripped. All the oil's been washed out of the leather. If they had any sense,
Hey,
they'd
wait a minute,
know.
Margot. Oil, leather, preserved. Margot, if the oil was still in the leather, the preserving oil, they'd still be good. The gloves, I mean.
Lamont, sometimes
That's
I
it,
think...
Margot. Of course that's it. You've just given me the one link I need to solve the case.
But how? I don't understand what
Remember I told you if I knew how the murderer performed his trick, I'd know where to look for him?
Yes, but what...
Well, Margot, right now the Shadow has to make a call on a gentleman in a dissecting laboratory.
Who's there? Who's there? Answer me or I'll...
It's the Shadow, Dr. Giles.
The Shadow?
So sorry to interrupt your labors, but I must ask you to give me a very unusual pair of gloves you possess.
Huh? What? Where are you? I can't see you.
No. Unfortunately, you can't see the Shadow. I asked you for the gloves.
No. What do you mean? You can't know anything about me.
I know this, Giles. That only you and Dr. Kilgore would have been able to get the fingerprints of Killer Novelli after he was electrocuted. And with Dr. Kilgore dead, it was pretty obvious who the murderer was.
You know a little too much, Shadow. I have a knife in my hand. I can't see it, but I can hear you.
Why don't you throw your knives?
Yes, Shadow. I've killed you.
No, Dr. Giles. I'll not be another of your victims.
Yeah? Well, what do you want of me?
I want your confession to the murder of Doc Kilgore and Maria Novelli. I also want that pair of gloves you made of human skin. The skin you took from the tips of Killer Novelli's fingers when you performed the autopsy and then kept in preserving oil.
You know too much, Shadow. But I can talk plainly to you because you won't live to tell.
You killed Doc Kilgore?
Yes, I killed him.
But why? Why, Giles?
Because he stood in my way. I should have been head of the department long ago. But I had to wait for him to die.
You also had found out that you had Killer Novelli's fingerprints and was going to tell Commissioner Weston the night you murdered him. Is that right, Giles?
That's right. But he can't tell now, can he? Madame Novelli's dead, too, because she knew too much. Everyone thought Novelli did it, didn't they?
You were very clever, Giles.
Yes. I prepared for years to do this. First, I stole the fingerprints from Novelli's hand when I performed the autopsy on his body. Then I got Novelli's own wife to teach me to throw the knife the way he did. No one would catch me. No one would suspect me. My crime was perfect.
No crime is perfect. In some way, the criminal slips up and is brought to justice.
Now, what is all this? Why'd you send for me, Giles?
I sent for you, Commissioner. The Shadow.
Shadow. Here in headquarters?
Yes, Commissioner. And this is the man you want. The murderer of Doc Kilgore and Madame Novelli.
What? Giles?
Yes, Giles. Surprise, eh, Commissioner? Yes, I did it. I did it, but you couldn't catch me. You'd never have found out. And now that you have, you're not gonna take me alive. Not alive, you
Quick, Weston, stop him. Stop him.
Giles, drop that knife. Afraid it's too late, Shadow. He's dead. Killed himself. Come in.
Hello, Commissioner. Remember us?
Huh? Oh, hello, Miss Lane. Cranston. I'm busy. Sit down.
Say, Commissioner, I wanted to see you this morning because I have another idea about the Kilgore case.
What? Hey, wait a minute. Don't you read the papers?
The papers?
I broke the case wide open last night. It was Giles. I knew it all the time.
Giles?
Yeah.
Well, what do you know about that?
Giles? Well, well.
Do tell us, Commissioner, why did Giles do it?
Go out and buy yourself a paper, Cranston. I'm sorry. I've got a luncheon date with the mayor, and I'm late now.
You know, Commissioner Weston will actually get to hate you if you tease him too much.
Did you notice, Margot? He didn't give the Shadow any credit for the solution of the crime whatsoever.
I broke the case last night, Cranston.
Aye.
Oh, but Lamont, that was a horrible case. How could Giles kill the man who was his best friend, who helped him through school, got him his job here? How could he?
Well, Margot, Giles was obviously suffering from a persecution complex. He imagined the world was against him. He thought his friends were his enemies. But his twisted brain was a brilliant one. He was devilishly clever. But he paid for his crimes as all criminals do, eventually. Say, that isn't bad.
What?
That line. I can use that in my second act.
You mean just before the heroine says, I am a woman?
Yes. No. Oh, Margot.
Today's program is based on a story copyrighted by the Shadow magazine. All the characters and all the places named are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. The Shadow magazine is on sale at your local newsstand.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.
Good night, and don't let the bed bugs bite.